Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Nobunaga's Ambition, Sphere of Influence on the Mysterious JG. I did something I don't often do at the beginning of a session, recording session. I watched the last couple of minutes of the last video. I should do that all the time. Rarely am I that professional, but in fact it was a good thing because the most interesting thing that's going on, I actually cautioned myself about at the end of the last video. It's been a few weeks for me to play, and I do tend to record in big chunks, so we've got a unit kind of floating around in our territory, and I think we need to ensure that this sumbitch don't get into...
We march!
Get anywhere. Like, we need to stop him from getting anywhere. So
Yes, my liege.
no, we don't want you to move into the city. Yeah, we want him to park outside. We're basically, I'm trying to figure out Shigei Shibata, who is no relation, it would appear, to Katsuie Shibata of the Oda forces. He's sneaking around here. He's clearly within our territory. I don't want to march out of too many places and try to prompt another wave from the Uesugi. And we've got units who are on their way back from having helped the Hojo with another battle. But yeah, I just want to kill him before he can get anywhere. That'll get us hostile with the Uesugi again, but fuck it, we're always hostile with the Uesugi. And eventually we need to take them out. This is kind of a question of, do I want to start weakening them before I take Kyoto? Because I'm pretty sure once I take Kyoto, as I've already said, off-screen while recovering from surgery, I played a bunch of this game without recording. When we take Kyoto, we're probably going to prompt an anti-Takeda coalition with the Uesugi as the head. It might be if I weaken them too much before we get there, they won't do it. But there's definitely, like, there's an achievement I want to get for defeating the head of an enemy coalition within a year of the coalition forming against us. That's a thing I'd like to see happen. But for now, we just want, well, we know we're... don't have a lot of food. We kind of need to hold on, although it's August. I think we're about to get a harvest. But we had a big fight with the Oda, where we came out ahead. They did the only thing they could do, which is try to attack us. Like, they are not going to be able to survive if they turtle. So, I mean, they made the right call and tried to risk an attack against us to try to gain some ground, but it didn't work. And now we need to take punitive measures. I mean, the next clan to be defeated, if if I had whatever, nobody was being offensive to us, I would probably just grab this district up here so we could get the 10 officers from this clan. Really, they don't matter. It's just whatever. But it would be either them or the Oda next, and leave the Uesugi on the side. Let the Hojo deal with the Kanto. We have a permanent alliance. Uesugi aren't really a threat to us as long as I don't pull everything off of my border with them to fight the Oda. They can put me in a position where I have to really fight, but unless I really weaken myself on that front, they can't really make gains against us right now. So grabbing this territory here would be more of a way of getting. What is this? This is the Sea of... which of these is the Sea of Japan? I think this is the Pacific, and this is the Sea of Japan. Although my knowledge of geography ain't that great. But, it feels like I should have a northern border at this point. There should be some place where, from north to south, which is not actually... this is... the country's been rotated on the map. This is more like southeast to northwest. But we should have a solid block of territory where nobody can traverse without crossing our path. But we don't, and the nearest we're going to get is if we march up here, and eventually... that is eventually going to place us in conflict with the Hatakeyama? Is that who this clan is? Yep. And this is the most success that the Honganji have had. So they've actually expanded. Asakura are going to be a threat. Not a threat, but they're going to be a foe. I don't think we'll ever be able to get peace with them. But ultimately, what we need to do is avoid being too aggressive, like running through our food supplies. I have done almost nothing with guns in this playthrough, although I need to Need to start buying horses if I'm going to really claim to be playing Takeda styles. Yeah, we need to focus on the goal, which is just to keep expanding west and try not to get to Kyoto and try not to overdo it. Like the only we can't really lose at this point, but if we can, it's really by growing too quickly, by just like stretching our food and reserves so thin that the Uesugi can make gains on us from behind while we're trying to deal with the Oda, or the Oda might actually be able to successfully counterattack if I just really do a bad job. But we have massive advantages in troop counts now. We've got 300k versus 484k, so it's not as big an advantage as I thought. But we've got almost twice the soldiers of the Miyoshi, who have become the second biggest clan, which is a bit odd. The Uesugi have taken enough losses against us that they are no longer even in the top 3. We've got way more officers than anyone else, so that's normal just because of my playstyle of hiring all the officers. Yeah, but more importantly, our max militia is like twice as high as our nearest rival. Our max troops are twice as high. We're way behind where we should be in horses, and we're like near the bottom in muskets. Although the Oda are even below us because they threw everything into their last attacks. Uesugi don't have muskets either, I guess. Yeah, no, we don't have, not at our Hojo. Like, all of us out here in the east are not doing muskets because we haven't been into it as long, and they're, I think, just by virtue of not using them and having them occasionally filter in, we've got more muskets than some of our rivals who are also conservative. But the real issue would be the soldier counts, where we just have way more than anyone else. We also have a very big territory they're spread across, so it kind of costs a lot of food to move armies like that. Now this is probably what's the most important. We got the most crops of anyone. Or supply, no, because we actually use our food instead of stockpiling it. But I think harvest is what's important, and our harvest is, it's not like double the next biggest clan. Well, because there's a huge gap. It's triple what the Uesugi do. And it's not double what the Miyoshi do. The Miyoshi are going to be a long-term problem, because they are the ones who currently hold Kyoto. It's kind of at the far extreme of their territory. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure how normal this is, but the Miyoshi have a lot of holdings on Shikoku. Might be a good idea for us to eventually ally with the Chosakabe. But no, the Miyoshi are going to be a pain in the ass because they are already established in the territory we're trying to take over. I mean, it's not anything we can't deal with, but they will. Between them and the Uesugi, they are going to be the problem. There's enough buffer states between us and the Mori that I think the game will probably be over before we're dealing with the Mori. And I find it really unlikely we're ever going to get to Kyushu unless I decide I want to conquer every territory rather than accepting a warband win. So basically, we need to deal with the Miyoshi, and we do the Oda, of course, the Miyoshi, and the Uesugi. And by the time all 3 of those clans are beaten, we've pretty much got the game won. So let's get back to it here, because as tends to happen in the first video of a session, I've spent 10 minutes chit-chatting away. But now we've got 3 different units all poised to eliminate Shigie Shibata before they can get anywhere. That'll make us hostile with the Uesugi again, but we essentially already are. We've got a whole domestic turn we got to play through. Maybe I should work on that, huh? Quite a few improvements to be made. I think these have been piling up because I didn't have that much money to spend. We've got a rice dealer. Rice exchange is a good thing to get going as quickly as possible. Naminara, you actually should not be overseer here anymore. And this is not as important to rush through to completion. So we'll let the somewhat slower officer do it. Town fair heading towards coin exchange. Shaman Yakizaki, not by design. I hope you're watching. It has been a fairly quiet Let's Play for you. Ironic considering you're cosplaying as Shingen. But you are contributing. Here we go. Stables, yes, excellent. I am, after all, Very interested in getting horses. Doesn't look like we are going to be, you know, I like Kabuki. Doesn't look like we're going to be buying horses through the merchants if I keep spending money at this rate. I probably have to hold off now and make sure we've got enough money to actually use our labor. Oh yeah, we are like out of money. Okay. Let's have that be it for our domestics then. Let's hold on to our food. I've been in a lot of combat. It makes sense that we need some domestic regrowth rebuilding time. So we're not going to get all of the improvements done we'd like to get done every month. We just don't have the cash. They're trying to tell us to sell food. We get a decent amount of money if we sold all of our food now, but we would then get attacked on all sides. By the time the enemies arrived at our cities, we'd have a harvest and could take care of them, but it still seems like a bad idea. So let's... Okay. Just trying to figure out which way he was going. So this is going to prevent him from escaping. Meantime, I'll keep an eye on the situation over here. Nothing should be happening over here. If I hadn't spent all my money on domestics, I should have sent spies into these cities to see exactly what we're dealing with, but we will have to deal with that in a mo. Don't know their exact counts, but yeah, we'll win this battle easily. Question is, will they then attack from another city to try to punish us? We're in the advantage. Alright, Kazuma Ishikawa. Let's deal with these a-holes.
Let's go.
You have Bond Breaker.
Acknowledged.
For now, we just... nothing too fancy here. A birthday present. I like them.
Understood.
So this is ended fast.
How about we bring this to an end?
Get our forces back into the city so they stop wasting food.
Decisive moment.
They're charging us right back, so this will be interesting.
Attack.
This fight won't last long. Basically just a bloody mess.
Retreat.
But the sooner it's done, the sooner we get our troops back into the cities, and the less food is wasted. So... Yep, that switched them to refused, as expected.
We're going back.
Everyone go home.
Let us return. We're heading back.
And we'll keep an eye on the Uesugi and see if they decide they need to try to do anything about that. We don't know what that guy was doing down here, but considering that we didn't get any indication, like, you know, the enemy is marching on Numata Castle with blah blah men, it probably means they were trying to get down here to reinforce Yuki Castle. Or possibly even Mangi Castle. Which I kind of wish that Hojo would hurry up and take those castles so we could get... It would stop having, like, this nonsense with them trying to march through our territory to reinforce. Apparently it's faster for you to do a loop around this mountain than to go back the way you came. That's okay. So that was a successful military action for us. And hey, one way to save food is to have some of your soldiers die, right? That seems like smart tactics. We've got all sorts of domestic stuff we continue to... It's like piling up all the improvements we should be making. And Motochika Chosokabe took the post of Imperial Supervisor. I've been ignoring the Imperial Court, actually, almost. I don't usually do that. It seems some countries have had a bountiful harvest. It's not like me to ignore the Imperial Court. Cannot believe secrets has taken me. Pathetic. Picked up the statesman trade. I'm the emissary. I speak for the prophets.
For orders, here's last month's balance.
The, hold on, that was, what's his name? That was Sonata, too. I speak for the prophets. The Sonata is of Bejor, etc., etc. Spent more than we made, but not by that much. But more importantly, we got our provisions in. Got a gift of gold. Hanbei Takanaka is growing. And, Froxus Nelock, in the comments section, the guy who made, or I don't know if it's a guy for sure, but the person who made Froxus Nelock is kind of talking about it. Like, they've got a different headcanon for me. Like, at this point, Froxus, people with perhaps not more raw, like, intelligence as far as management skill, but people with more intelligence as far as political savvy have engineered a way for Froxus to re-enter the clan and serve. I don't think anyone questions, like, keeping her away from the Oda is like a precaution. She's got this, in the Froxus Nelock stuff, there's this kind of headcanon that she's being kept away, and that, like, she knows that the dagger is hovering near her throat, that if she makes a mistake, won't get a second chance, which I suppose is true. But in my mind, Shingen's like, he's having her watched, but he has everyone watched. Shingen is a suspicious sort. But, like, she's being given the chance to prove herself. The whole thing about having a dagger at her throat, I feel like, is kind of constant in a clan like the Takeda. It's not really special for Froxus. Not sure what I'm getting at, so let me get back to the game. We've got money to spend again, although not as much as we would like. Let's do this scouting that I think is probably necessary. Mazuyuki should be pretty damn good at that, actually. And so would Hanzo. So we'll see if we can get some twofers out of that. Then get back to this. We've got a lot of domestic stuff that we should be trying to improve. Fukashi Castle. Uehara Castle. Oh, Hamamatsu Castle is pretty important. This is a castle that can be fantastic, so we should be improving it as rapidly as possible. And there's Ieyasu Matsudaira. Way too good an officer to just throw away. If it's any consolation, Kawanoari Sanada, I think Shingen would be much smarter about guarding against Ieyasu than most generals would. Not that Hideyoshi was dumb, but I think Shingen seems to me like somebody who would have, if he hadn't died when he died, he would have been able to... No, maybe not. I'm not sure that anybody could have stopped Ieyasu from rising to power. Ieyasu was just really patient and really smart. And some of the things I've chatted in the comments, I think Ieyasu, some of the things that Kawanoari Sanada blames on Ieyasu, I put down more to later Tokugawa retainers after Ieyasu died. But my thinking might be guided by the novel Shogun, in which he took a lot of advantage of the West and seemed like he was open to using them for his ends. But that's a fictionalized account. I might be getting it kind of wrong. Meanwhile, oddly enough, Vulture Bean is the overseer, or she's not the overseer. Agumon Moran is a good overseer, but he shouldn't be overseer when Vulture Bean is around, so we'll have him do this improvement. And once again, our money is just slipping away as I spend freely. But I do like to keep these... I like to keep things going. I like to have our cities producing as best as they can. Reservoir... well, it allows a depot, so it might be useful in the long run. Temple complex. Cargaman. The gold and the labor are slipping away very quickly here.
Ask for anything you want.
At Alex's restaurant. When you play as a conservative faction, you produce food quickly and you gotta sell it. When you play as a progressive faction, you produce a lot of gold and you sometimes have to buy food. So I'm trying not to go overboard, but I can't fight it. Like, if I want to maintain growth, I have to be selling food. We just had a harvest. It's the worst time to sell food, but I just don't... If I don't start selling it, I'm just not going to maintain growth. I'd get more out of it if I was a little more patient, but if I'm too patient, I'm just not taking advantage of the ability to grow. Rice exchanges are just so good. They're just so good. I think I may have finally got caught up on that. Actually, I hate to do it, but I think I'm going to sell a little bit more, even just so that I can.
Thank you for your patronage.
Get a full round of development going here and use up the labor, and still have a little cash in hand. I need to throttle back on that, though. It's an easy way to put yourself in the bad position, selling too much food. But I did manage to get some scouts off to take a look at the Oda cities. And the last fight, I mean, we left them pretty badly bruised, but it's not like we didn't take losses. So it's not like I can really just... Unless I'm willing to march from... Oh, yeah, even Hamamatsu. Like, it's going to take us a while to get our strength back as well. Could probably march out of, like, Inui and Kagakaga and Koyama. Yeah, I certainly have places I could march from. It would cost a lot of food, but I could bring some full-strength units up here to keep the pressure on. That might not be a bad idea, but let's give it a turn and see what they've actually got in those cities before we get ahead of ourselves. Because we'll have spy reports coming in shortly. And I was pleased we were able to destroy that Uesugi unit without provoking an attack. Yoshiaki Ashikaga is discontent enough to not fight us if we ask. Shall we continue to conspire? Yes, but now I have to remember, did we not cut that off? I have to remember who that is. I don't know why. I know we had a Uesugi officer we were conspiring with, but now I can't remember. Yoshiaki Ashikaga. We got some kind of other Takata clan too. No. Oh, it's a reverse, so I need to go down a little. Yeah, okay. Oh, it's an Oda clan guy. Oh, that's right. I was trying to see if I could hire the Shogun. I thought that would just be funny if we can do it. Yeah. All right, let's keep that up. It's probably a stupid use of resources, but it could be fun. Oh, and I need to start talking to the Imperial Court again, too, if I want Shingen to get titles, which I don't know if I care about that or not. You don't need to. It's a game mechanic that it's useful if you want to do, it's useful only if you want to do, a lot of diplomacy. It helps with your diplomacy. You gain diplomacy faster with other clans if you have a high prestige in the Imperial Court. And honestly, I don't think it's that useful to me. I don't think it'll affect the ending. Once we take Kyoto, we're kind of de facto in charge. Shaman Yamazaki's pulls up. So I've gained the agility trait. I will use this to make the most agile... what stupid progressive thing do I want to mention this time? I always go with Drag Queen Story Hour. I guess I could go with, like, holistic, vegan co-op or something. I gotta switch it up once in a while. You know, keep it fresh, like vegan produce. We actually made more than we spent because I sold food, of course. Not to spend otherwise. One of our enemy castles have been scouted. Ichigen Asakura's training is paid off. Alright, let's see what Hanzo and... gotta remember who I think... okay, so they're like reduced... They're at full... Well, no, they didn't get scouted. Ooh. I don't know where they're going, but this actually would be a good time to attack the Yoda. They are weak. They do not have power. Okay, let's see here. Kurenai Takada? Shaman Yamazaki would actually be the lead. He hasn't had that much chance for action. Like, this would be good. Let's get him up here. Naminara, along with Katsuyori.
Let's march.
Katsuyori is, of course, Shingen's son, who inherited, and he kind of led to the Takada to their doom. But I mean, it was because it seemed like he was giving it his best effort. Let's put it that way. He was a guy who he wasn't as good as Shingen, and he tried to maintain. He tried to keep the momentum up and attack his enemies, and just ran into some pretty rough defeats. Vulture Bobo
We march.
can lead a bunch of troops. And unfortunately, it looks like if I want to keep this up, we're going to need to buy some horses. Luckily, we're finally caught up in our domestics so that I'm not constantly trying to build expensive new facilities.
What would you like? Thank you very much.
You are so stupid. Well, I'd rather hoped to get better spy information, but it looks like whoever I sent to Kiyosu only got Kiyosu. Hanzo is the one who got 2 for us with the cities. You know what? I don't even know if I care. Inuyama, we think it has 500. It probably has some number that's not exactly 500, but it's got to be pretty close. This may not be worth the gold. Oh, the fuck, it's 300 gold. Oh, we do have more of these to do. We do have more. Woo! Sorry, voice got away from me there. Studio. That's odd. That's not a development I would usually do. Oh, I probably inherited this from somewhere else. An inn would make them more suitable for crafts. Yeah, we need to get an inn going. We actually need to back this out. This is probably a decision the AI made that we need to kind of change. So if we build an inn, then we can hopefully go back to its base. We'd probably be able to build an inn on the turn after, I hope. And probably there's a better development type that we could have done for that district if we had been in control earlier, but we were not. Okay, let's not worry about castle improvements now. Let's see if we have enough gold to spend the rest of our labor and still have something in the bank. And then see if there's anyone else we want to march. We're marching out of all these places. And we'll keep some of these places in reserve here. We can march out at... Who would this be? Mazuyuki? I'm looking for Vulture Bronco to get to lead troops at some point. But I can't remember where I parked him. Yeah. Oh, and he'll be... That's right, I paired him up with Hanzo too, so that'll be fun when the time comes. But let's hold off. Let's attack from the south. We can try to flank if it becomes important. Sakurabora Castle is going to be pretty vulnerable if the Oda decide to go after it. But if the Oda decide to go after it, they will be giving up some of their southern cities in the process. They can't divert enough troops there to do any good without really weakening the front I'm about to attack. So I was just talking about trying to be patient and not attack, but when I actually scouted their castles and saw how bloody their nose is from the last fight. We really got to try to take advantage. So when we come back next time, might not, the speed at which this game goes and the distance that we're marching from, we're probably not going to be in combat with them in the next video, but the next war is coming. And all their base belong to us. Thanks for watching, guys.